Hey everybody, we are back with another episode of Conversations, and today we are joined by local genius mini bank man, Matt Harrington, and as always, Pastor Joel and myself, Ben Gallagher-Horn. And today we're going to talk about changes and listening to God during this time and what He wants to do and what He's saying and things that maybe He's speaking to us about changing maybe during this time and during COVID. And so, Pastor Joel.
Yeah, it's funny. We got the mini bank guy. We're talking about change, so couldn't resist throwing that one in there.
There is a shortage. So.
That's true. It's true. Penny for your thoughts means so much more these days.
That's true.
Well, Matt, we were talking about this just recently about what is life going to look like when we get back to something more like normal. And you had some good thoughts to share about what kind of changes we want to see in our life going forward. So what's God been putting on your heart with regards to that?
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that's maybe somewhat universal is that our lives kind of decluttered all really fast.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of activities got cut out. Parts of our jobs may have gotten cut out, and maybe even relationships got cut out. And so I think you kind of, just by virtue of how this happened, you get a reset on a lot of areas of life. And I think one of the changes I know for me is evaluating as things go back to normal in waves, apparently. Which of those things is it probably good that left, and I just need to leave it. I know checking my phone for ESPN is one.
Sports just isn't the same when there's no fans watching. Why am I watching?
Right, that's true. It's true. It's small idea, but I probably checked it way too much before, and then it wasn't there at all, and now it's sort of back, and I need to be you know what? That's probably something I didn't really need to put back in my life.
Yeah.
Not that I'm never going to watch sports again, but you get the idea.
Yeah, I like what you say about reset, and kind of feel like maybe we need to hit that reset button again.
Right.
It didn't take the first time or something.
Right.
Feel like we're in this mode of installing updates. Please wait. But I like that idea though of reset, because you're right. Life got changed, bam, that quick. All of a sudden, we're in a totally unfamiliar environment. But there's some good things I'm seeing in my own life. Good and new habits that I'm making and developing. And while I think there's some things I'm missing, being able to fellowship with my friends, my Christian family like I used to. We're increasingly being able to do more of that, but it's still not quite the same. No fellowship time snacks. There's there's been a shortage of Krispy Kremes on Sunday mornings, which is probably good, because some of those fellowship time snacks were destructive to New Year's resolutions. But so I see some good things going on, and then I see some things that I miss. I want to get back to and be able to do. But what specific changes do you want to see? What do you want to see more of in life as we begin to move more towards something normal?
Right. Yeah, I think one thing for me that I realized that I want to change, to change now, but also carry it forward, is just the idea of having really real conversations with people and not just small talk. Because I think that's, as it's happened, your opportunities to actually converse with people got more and more limited. Yeah. And it made me think about what I wanted to say. If I was going to just see Ben at the post office, I wanted to say something more meaningful than, I don't know.
Can I have $20?
Yeah. Well, that could be meaningful, but but so as things get back to normal, I want to have real conversations. Or I've thought about situations where maybe I had the chance to tell somebody about Jesus or give them a word of encouragement, and you kind of take those for granted when you're interacting with people day to day, and you're like, oh well, I'll get another one. well, maybe the next one will be like 2 months from now. So
Yeah.
maybe you better take advantage of that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
I think for me, like, one of the things that has been really challenging is I think, like, for a lot of people, you're forced to be home a lot more, and you're forced to sort of be with yourself a lot more. I think, like, after, so many days in your own house, you can't avoid, being in your own head anymore. And so you're really forced to deal with a lot of, I think, like, for me, a lot of the, I think, patterns and habits that weren't healthy, or the things that I tried to avoid about maybe myself that I wasn't being honest with. And I think developing the perspective and attitude that enables me to, in a healthy way, embrace those things and deal with those things and bring those things before God, I think is something that I really want to take forward even after things get back to sort of being normal, because I think being at home has really forced me to look at myself in the mirror and I can't not see the things that I don't want to see, right, in myself. And so I think, like, the other side of the coin of the practicality and, like, having meaningful conversations with people and that kind of a thing is, I think the other half or other side is the spiritual aspect, and, like, embracing time alone and utilizing that time to be well spent with God, and to use that time to pursue intimacy and relationship with Him, and not just kind of, because I think even as, like, we're in this season and stuff, like, if I really wanted to, you could still get busy.
Right.
You could still be so busy, or make yourself so busy that you're able to avoid the things. But I think that's the one main thing that God has really been speaking to me through this time, is, like, embracing the things I don't want to embrace.
Yeah.
I kind of think it's a lot like whenever there's a health issue or something, or you go to the dentist and they say, hey, you need to maybe, stop with the soda, or or they go to the doctor and they say it's time to cut out the Krispy Kremes. There's some changes that you have to make because of an imperative health concern. Mm-hmm. And then you start to do it, and you're like, man, I don't want to eat this carrot. And you're like throwing a fit about eating this carrot. And then after a while, it's like, you know what? I'm actually kind of liking the stuff I'm eating.
Yeah.
And I'm finding I don't miss the stuff that I've had to cut out.
Yeah.
And I kind of see it like that a little bit, that some of the stuff I'm cutting out, maybe it wasn't meant to be there to begin with.
Yeah. I think for me, like, along with that is, I still miss it. I definitely still miss it.
Yeah.
But I think the reward, or, like, the fruit of what comes to that change is far greater and better than, having that sweet or having that distraction. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's not like it just goes away and you're like, oh, this is actually a lot better. But it's just like, you realize how imperative it is to be in that place, rather than
And maybe there's something that we're missing.
Yeah.
That now we're seeing it, and so maybe what had taken on too much of an emphasis in my life, I'm able to put in a more proper perspective. Mm-hmm. In other words, it's not cut out entirely, but maybe it's relegated to a more appropriate level of influence in my life.
Right. Yeah. No, I like what you said about being forced to, like, look at yourself and all the distractions were cut out. Like you said, you could make yourself busy, but I think maybe that's, like, something. Yeah, going forward, I want to be more intentional about, is, like, cutting the distractions for a period, or just, like, in my quiet time, being like, okay, what problem am I avoiding, really, by distracting myself?
Yeah, because with the busyness of life, there could be an issue that I'm not dealing with. It comes up maybe in Sunday morning, and the pastor touched on it, like, ooh, I need to deal with that. But I go home and I get busy with this or that, or ESPN, or all the other little distractions, and it's sort of like I just kind of shove it off to the side and don't really deal with it. But in this kind of an environment, it's almost like God put a lot of people into timeout.
Right.
You just sit there and think about your life for a little bit. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just putting yourself in intentional timeouts.
Yeah, and maybe there's something good about this. I'm thinking about Sunday morning, for example, just doing service in a totally different way. It's not that we're not having church, but maybe we're meant to make a shift on how we do service. And maybe there's something healthy about this, and maybe I'm starting to really ask God, what have I been missing that you've been wanting us to do that we've never thought of because we were comfortable doing what we were doing before.
Right.
And this has forced us, like as a church, at the church level, to do some things that we've never done before because it's the only thing we can do.
Right.
Things like this, for example. But maybe this is something new and exciting and good that we were meant to do. And so, I mean, some people are looking at this coronavirus like it's the devil. We just need to rebuke the devil. And I'm like, well, maybe. But maybe God's like, hey, guys, you know, grabbing us by the ear. Hey, guys, I'd like for you to take a look at things from this perspective for a little while. And that might be something healthy.
Yeah, definitely.
I heard something that Pastor Lynn Lapka, I think it was either Pastor Lynn or his wife, one of the two, we were having a conversation at Glacier Bible Camp. Just when we had the IYC get together this June. And I think, if I remember his words correctly, it was something like this. He said, you know, whenever this is done, this coronavirus stuff, when this is done, if church looks exactly like it did before, then we will have missed something. And I was like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Now, I've been thinking about that at a personal level.
Yeah.
That if when this is done, my life looks exactly like it did before, then this was just a big intermission. I think I will have missed something. And so I want to be able to receive and carry forward. I like that idea of carrying it forward, that which God's doing in my life now.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts or words of wisdom, Mini Bank Man?
Yeah, I guess just I think for me the biggest, there's maybe not so much a practical like I'm going to do this going forward, but it's like a realization like life is uncertain, and I know for sure, you know, my job has changed a lot. My business has been on a roller coaster ride. It's on the up now, but there was a big down, and it's really. The big realization for me is like just to do it with an open hand, you know, or live life with an open hand and know that God's going to take care of you. And yeah, life is uncertain, but God's faithful. So
yeah, life's uncertain, God's faithful, and He can take that to the mini bank every time. Well, hey, it's been great having you.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Ben, before we?
I think probably the one thing that stands out to me is like encapsulating this whole conversation. I think it boils down to choice and how we choose to look at something. And we can choose to look at the coronavirus and the season as this is just the devil trying to get me, you know, or we can look at this as like, hey, this is time that's been given to me. This is, you know, an opportunity that's been given to me to change something or reset something. And I think it really comes down to the way we choose to look at something. And yeah, so
if there's one big positive I've taken away during this time is it's been encouraging me to live more and more by faith and to really trust God. God is faithful, and He's never stopped being faithful. We talked about that with your grandpa a couple episodes ago. Yeah, and so what a great way to wrap this up by just asking yourself, what do you want to carry forward? Going, you know, when we come out of coronavirus and we're not wearing masks everywhere anymore, we might be doing it for a while, but what do you want to carry forward in your life? And don't waste any season. You just never know when life's going to throw something completely crazy at you. Let's carry forward what God's doing in our life so we don't miss the fruit of this season. This has been great.
Yeah.
Awesome time. This has been Conversations.
Episode 5. Thank you everybody for watching, and stay tuned. More episodes on the way.
Yeah, we'll get some great stuff coming. God bless.